Hello, this is Commander Hugh Jardon. Welcome to another one of my Elite Dangerous walkthrough videos. This is another one about mining. It's aims at beginners mainly, how to get the most money from mining early in the game. It involves mining for platinum in a hazardous resource extraction site, which is the current meta for getting the most money. And don't be put off by the hazardous. It's not particularly dangerous, and if you there will be some interactions with pirates, but when you follow my instructions, you won't have any trouble at all, and you get all the advantages of getting the extra money that you get or extra yield from the rocks in the hazardous resource extraction site without much, without anything really in the way of downsides to it. So I'm going to divide this into two parts. The first part will be general principles of mining to give you sort of an idea of what you're aiming at. Then I'll describe the loadout for the T6 and how to use it, and and how to deal with the pirates. And part two will be loadout for the Python and the slight differences in how to use it. It's not a lot different. So even if you're starting in the Python one, you should watch the T6 one because I'm putting all the details into that one. And the Python one will just be the differences. But also in that second video, because otherwise it'd be too long, I'm going to put how to find a good market for your platinum. Because when you're mining like this, the time traveling to the market is really significant. Typically, half the time that you're playing, you're traveling, and half the time you're mining. So if you can reduce that, it gives you a substantial benefit in terms of the you know the earnings per hour. So I've got some ideas about that. I haven't seen other people explain, so it is all logical. But if you just want to have a look at it, it might give you some ideas as well. So between the two, I hope I've covered everything for a beginner, how to get a lot of money from mining. Right. So first of all, the T6. I'm just going to whip through the loadout and tell you why it's like it is, and I'm going to treat you as if you don't know anything. So because I don't know whether you do or not. So this is for everybody. So first of all, as a general principle, before we start, that if money is your goal, like it is for a lot of people, they go mining because they come on a thought, how do I get the most money? I need my fleet carrier or something like that. Yeah, go mining. So if that's your goal, you want to do it like exactly like I'm showing you. Follow my loadouts, follow my methods and everything. Uh, if you just want to amble your way through the game, trying this and that, having fun, you can do what you want. So I'm not trying to tell you how to play the game. I'm only trying to show you if money making is your goal, this is the way to do it. Because I see some loadouts, like when you go on forums and things, and even the elite miners Reddit section, the loadouts they got there. Personally, I think for the way I do it, they're diabolical, and so I call them out. But other people say, well, I built it like that because I want to have fun, whatever that means. And by that they mean I want to shoot a pirate from time to time, and I want to mine like a loser. So uh, basically, do not fit weapons to your ship. Don't get that idea in your head. It's very inefficient. The time it takes you to kill the pirates, you could have mined a lot more and got a lot more money in the same time. And you don't have to shoot any pirates. Shooting pirates is dangerous as well, so best avoid it if you can. If you want to shoot pirates, get yourself a combat ship. Go and do that when you want. And the other thing, they make like these multi-purpose mining ships. They get the idea. Oh, if only, I've seen this rock with surface deposits. If only I'd brought some abrasion blasters, I could have had that as well. But in actual fact, it slows you down. By the time you've changed your fire groups and knocked off those surface deposits and figured out how to hoover them up, you could have mined a whole rock with your lasers. So you ended up getting about 4 tons, and you could have used that time to get 20 tons. So just do the laser mining. Okay, that's what I'm concentrating on. So try and keep it simple. If you want to do the other things, by all means do them. But if you want to make money, this is the way to do it. Right. So here we go then. Two class one mining lasers. All you can have. That's the maximum lasers you can have. So goal is always to have the most lasers, the most collector limpets, and the biggest jump range. The biggest cargo capacity. Cargo capacity, more than anything else, affects your earnings rate. So bear that in mind. They're the things we're trying to get. So on a utility mounts, we also have to consider safety because there are pirates there, and from time to time you will mess up and come under fire from pirates. It's not a big problem if you follow what I say. It's easy to get away from them, but for that you need a heatsink launcher in this slot and the point defense in this one. The heatsink launcher detargets you so they can't shoot you so easily, and the point defense. If your shields go down, they'll fire missiles at you. That protects you from that. And if they try hatch breakers to get at your cargo, protects you from that as well. So those two things. No need for chaff. Anything else? Those two things will are more than enough for what you need to escape from any pirate. Next thing, uh, this is the core stuff. So in this case, we need a 3A power plant to give the power that we need. It's the maximum. You always want the fastest thrusters to escape from pirates or run away from them if you have to. Always want the best frameshift drive you can get. I'm treating this as beginners, so no engineering for any of these, but any engineering that you do should be to the frameshift drive to get more jump range, anything to get you more speed, and anything to get more power to your lasers, which is the power distributor. So life support, we've done D for lightweight to get a bit more jump range. Power distributor, always the best you can get. And if you do any engineering, you want to do it to um, weapons focused. If you do the sums, it works out that gives you the fastest mining speed, not the fastest charge rate. What they call it, charge enhanced, not that one. You do get more power to your weapons from the charge enhanced one, but you get a smaller capacitor, and as a result of that, the overall is less. Now, I'm not going to go through it all here, but I might do a bit later. Right, sensors D again for lightweights. You don't need to be able to see far, and a standard fuel tank. Uh, right, this is where the T6 comes into its own. We can get these 3 cargo racks in there for 80 tons, and we're also going to be able to get a bit of cargo from our refinery as well. I'll show you how that works in a minute. The shield generator, a D class is good enough. It's cheaper than the A. It's not as strong as the A. Um, so if you're really worried, you could put an A1 there. I think you've got enough power for it, but it's going to be more expensive, and it's strictly speaking unnecessary. I've been using this. I tested it. I put myself under fire several times and always managed to get away. So that's okay. Then we got now this multi-limit controller. You never see in any of the online recommendations because it is fairly new and they've never updated. So this is the one you want. You buy it from any place that sells Limpic controllers, and you don't find it in many of the searches. If you use those search tools for modules, it doesn't show up because they haven't got it in the database yet. But any place that does normal collector limpets, you'll find this thing. So the advantage of it is it carries 4 limpets instead of 2 for a normal class 3, and but they are a little bit fragile. We'll come to that later. But they're okay, so don't worry about that. What's that? I managed to squeeze in a fuel scoop. So this is for travelling because you're going to need to travel about 100 light years to the market normally. There are some exceptions to that, and if you're working from a fleet carrier nearby, or if there's a station you can sell very nearby, then you don't need that. So I would fit. You don't need any more limpets. So I would fit another cargo rack in there. So the refinery, normally you want the smallest refinery you can get, bearing in mind what other modules you've got. And so a 2A has 6 bins in it, and when those bins are full, they carry 6 tons. So as well as your 80 tons, you've got these 6 tons in here. If you fill up your refinery before going back, what happens is the refinery fills up, but it can't refine it because there's no room when your cargo's full up. It can't pass it into the cargo, so it'll hold it in the refinery. But when you sell those 80 tons, it'll make space, and then by magic another 6 tons will appear after you've sold the 80 tons, provided that your refinery was full, or whatever was in the full bins in the refinery will get refined. and then you can sell that as well at the same time. So prospector limpet, we've got a class 1A. It has to be A class in any mining ship because that affects how much you get out the rock. The higher the grade, the more you get out. So obviously the higher the better. And refiner, I said normally the smaller the better. There's no point in making a 1A in this case because all that would mean was we could put a prospector limpet there. There isn't anything else useful we could do here. Yeah, we could have um, no, there isn't anything. So yeah, that's just the way it has to be. So here, the fuel scoop is another class 2. You've got a choice. If you are working for somewhere nearby, you could put another cargo rack there, get a bit more cargo, or you could put another. No, there's no point. No point in a collector limpet. So just a cargo rack. Right. So that's that. No docking computer. No supercruiser. You don't need any of that stuff. This ship is just so easy to handle and land. You just get used to it. Right. So that's it. So what we need to do now is go out and try it. Before we go, a couple of things I've got to show you. Don't forget your limpets, and you find those in the advanced maintenance here. And then it's this symbol, the limpet symbol. And you want about 50. I've already got 80. 50 is what you want. Confirm. And the other thing is fire groups. So let's just have a look at those. So the prospector limpet wants to be on trigger 2, and then the mining lasers on trigger 1, and the collector limpets on trigger 1. Now this multi-limpet controller can do both prospectors and collectors. We don't use prospector because it's C grade, and if you fire a C grade prospector at a rock, you don't get so much out of it. That's why we got the separate A class limpet. So if you'd wanted to, like if you didn't have the other prospector one, you'd put your 2 on there, and that limpet control would send out 2 different limpets depending on what you wanted. So that's how you have it. So as soon as you fire your mining lasers with the trigger, out will come all the limpets to start collecting the stuff. Automatic. That's why we do it like that. Okay, right, see you out there. Assuming you're a beginner, whenever you're flying with cargo, whether you're hauling, running missions, anything like that, always fly with 2 pips to systems and 4 to engines. And what that does, it saves you a lot of messing about when if you get interdicted and you get pulled down, you got to run away. Never fight them. Always run away. So don't forget you got that heatsink. The other thing is that you need to make sure you know what button that heatsink's on. I didn't put it in a fire group. I always have it on a separate button so that no matter what ship I'm in, I know exactly what button I got to press to deploy a heatsink. That's really important because you're going to be in a panic. You'll be under fire. You see your shields going down. You think, crikey, I was a bit late there. Then you're starting to run away. You got the wrong pips. Whoops, not concentrating. You got the wrong pips. You haven't done that, and then you're faffing about with those. And then by that time, you're taking serious hull damage. And it could all be avoided if you'd just practiced a little bit in your head, at least, what you're going to do. This process of pips first, two four like that, then the heat boost, then the heat sink, and then you're on the way. It's very, very safe. Right, we've arrived at the hazardous resource extraction site. You got the little marker on the mini radar. We're going to be using that in a minute. So the first thing you want to do, then the first trip, is head towards the planet. And you want to put your night vision on. It's there. That helps you a lot. Even when it's not dark, it will help you a lot with the rocks. So just boost out. You see there's some ships around. Some of them are big pirates and want to scan you. Just keep boosting out. Now, we're going to mine in a band, or let's say in a disc, first of all, less than 20 kilometers from that marker. So if you look behind me now, so come on, turn. There it is. We're 8 kilometres from it at the moment, and anything less than 20 kilometres from there, you get the hazardous bonus. So if you go 20.1 kilometres, the rock won't give you the bonus, so you get less from it. So we don't want to go further than that. On the other hand, the nearer you are to the centre, the more chance you've got of a pirate interaction. So the general goal is to mine in a band in like a ring, 16 kilometres to 20 kilometres from that marker. And so each time you come, you're going to be working around that band. So in a T6, you get maybe 10% of the way round in that circle before you full up and you go away. So next time you come, you don't want to fly to the planet and do the same thing because you'll be going over the same rocks. So I'm going this time. Next time you come in a T6, you want to head in about that direction, and then the next time about that direction, and so on. Each time moving round a bit like this, like going round the clock. And the last, eventually you go away from the planet, and then you work your way all the way around. That's so you don't go over the same rocks. Um, because I think it's 4 hours to deplete to before they replenish. Right. The other important thing is you need to know which way you're going round. And of course, if I'm now going to the left, so I'm going to the marker anti-clockwise. If I was the other way up, now it's on the right, and I'm going clockwise. So you've got to be careful that you don't end up the other way up and going back the way you've come. So in order to avoid that, you need to look at the sky. So up there, you'll see this yellow stuff, like it's actually the Milky Way, like a whole load of stars. That yellow band in that half, that's above the rocks this way. Let me just boost up a bit, make it a bit clearer. So the rocks are in a flat plane. So here I am now, I'm sort of level with the rocks. So above me is this sky with the yellow in it. See it better now. And then below me, the sky, the only marker in that sky is like a red nebula. See if I can find it. There it is down there. So I always have that below me. So then I know I'm always the same way up. And the general idea is to try and stay parallel to the rocks. So you can see what plane they're in. So I always want to be like this, not like this. And, because you'll lose orientation if you're not careful. So, right, my distance now is 16.1 kilometers. So I'm ready to start mining. And what I want, if I put that dot on the mini radar right on the edge, I'm now going round in a circle at the same distance. So if I want to go a bit further away from it, I just turn away. And if you look at the dot on the radar, it's gone hollow. So if that dot is hollow, it means I'm going slightly away. And the more it is from the edge, the more I'm going away from it. And the reverse for going towards it. So where it is there, I'm just going slightly inwards as I go round in a circle. And as I'm already at I'm already sort of on the limit. I want to go more away, so I want to go more or less in that direction. Now, they haven't done it this time, but they tend to be kind to you in the T6. So what normally happens is the pirates follow you out and they scan you. So if you see any yellow squares or triangles on the radar, just wait until they've scanned you. A message will come up in the top left, in the comms panel there, saying that they're scanning you, and what tasty cargo have you got? I see all, stuff like that. Typical pirate chat. And if you see any of those, don't start mining. And anyway, if it's pirates about, don't start mining until they've been and scanned you. They'll scan you and say, "Oh, you're a waste of time." I thought they said this is a good place, and stuff like that. When they've given that message and they've all gone, they won't actually go away. They normally start fighting each other. So they'll be all round you while you're mining. But once they've all scanned you, you can start. So what we're looking for is rocks that are nice and still. They're not spinning too fast. So you fire a prospector limpet at it with your trigger 2. You target the limpet, and then it tells you on the bottom left how much platinum there is there. Not enough in that. We're looking for 30% or more. The maximum is 62, 65. I can't remember 62 or 65% now. 62.65, I think, in diet. That's no good. So as that dot is slightly hollow, I'm going right. And here comes some pirates. So they might come out to me. So I'm not going to start mining just yet, even if I find platinum. Just see what they're up to. They're probably fighting each other. That's got 30% in, so that's okay. I think I'll be all right. Those pirates, they're dodging in a distance. It's not a problem. Even if they come to you, they're going to ask for cargo. You have to just give it to them. So right, I can start mining now, and I just pull my trigger, and out come the collector limpets. Start collecting. Right, there's a scan. So I'm just going to. Oh, I haven't got my. That's the police. There's no message there. If there's no message there, you're good to go. So what I was going to say, yeah, you want 411 pips is probably good. Whoops, I'm tilting my ship. It's very easy to tilt your ship. So always max 4 pips to weapons to mine. The other ones aren't so important. You can do 0, 2, 4, and that gives you a little bit more speed between the rocks. That's probably ideal. But if you bump into the rock or something like that, you might want to put one back to your system just to recharge your shields again. Right, so the other thing is then open your cargo hatch, and now you're good to go. Now, this rock has got gallite in it as well. So what you would do, just mine a bit. To bring out a few fragments. Okay, that's it. And then close your cargo hatch. Okay. So you need to then come to contacts and have a look down here. So there's the fragment down there with gallite and platinum in it. So what you do, you come across here and then add gallite to the ignore list. So eventually you need to add everything except for, say, platinum and osmium, because osmium's worth quite a lot as well. So just leave those two on. Everything else you need to add to the list. And the reason you need to close your cargo hatch is because otherwise these things are all dancing up and down. You'll see what I mean if you do it wrong, and you can't. By the time you've clicked on that, it's gone, and it's like whack-a-mole. You know, like, you've got to try and get it before it goes away, and it's very difficult. But if you just close that cargo hatch, it'll park them outside, and then when you open your cargo hatch again, you can see what's happened. They've been put into the refinery, and they've gone. You can't target them anymore. So that's how you get round that. So while I was doing all that, I probably tilted my ship. I don't know which way up I am, but remember the dot on the mini radar was on the left, so I can reorientate myself quite quickly just by looking at that. But sometimes you're going up more vertical to the rocks and things, and that dot can be anywhere. So if any time you've lost your orientation, just tilt up, look for the sky. You're looking for that yellow sky or the red nebula, and then straight away you know which way up you have to be, and then you can point in whatever direction you need to carry on that circle. So don't forget, you're going round in a circle all the time. You're moving between the rocks. So the T6 is not very quick at mining, but don't forget it has a big cargo capacity. That's where you make up your time. Now, these 3C collector limpets, they do seem a bit fragile, so you don't want to put your ship too close to the rocks. This is about the right distance, and you know when it's too close because they start expiring. It seems that if you look, they come from underneath the ship and then go up slightly and grab the fragment and go back down underneath. And if you're too close, in that gap where they got to get in front of the ship, they just seem to bounce into the rocks and explode. Well, they don't explode, they just die. So if you start seeing new collector limpets coming all the time, it's probably because you're too close. So this rock here is about as fast as you want it to rotate. So generally you're looking for small rocks, nice round ones without stuff bits sticking out of them, and stationary ones. If it's stationary, you can mine any shape. But if they're spinning, like if it's spinning reasonably fast, well, normally you'd leave it alone anyway. But uh, it needs to be fairly round like this one is. And the last thing you want is like an irregular shaped one spinning fast. And the reason is it'll knock the fragments all over the place. And your collectors will have trouble collecting them up. Or worse still, the fragment gets jammed in a crevice. And then the collectors try and get it. And they just keep expiring all the time. You run out of collector limpets. And or the other thing is, as the collectors are going in to grab the stuff, the rock comes round and whacks them. And then they just expire. So we've got plenty of limpets. It's generally not a problem, but this thing, if a fragment gets trapped, that is, sometimes you have to leave the rock then because the limpets just keep coming out one after and just expiring. So if that happens, just go to another rock, get away from it. So we're nearly done with this one here. I'll do a couple of rocks. I mean, it only takes 3 or 4 rocks to fill up this ship. We've done one already. So if you get, I mean, the best rocks have 30 tons in them. Right, now, at any time, you need to know your distance. So we've got a limpet targeted at the moment. So if you de-target it, you can just look bottom left. We're 18 kilometers, where it says resource extraction site. So still okay. So I've got to go around in a circle now. So I want to go sort of in this direction. But you'll see that the rocks are all over the place. You don't necessarily have a choice exactly where you go because you got to obviously mine the rocks. This one here, yeah, that's just about mineable. After you've done it for a bit, you'll get the experience of which ones work out well and which ones don't. And you can minimise the effect of the spinning rock by mining it on its spinning axis. That's not 100% because they have a weird effect where they change their spin. At the moment you go to the side where they were spinning from, they start spinning the other way. So this one's nice and still, so that's a good one. The one up to the top right actually is quite still as well, so that's good. 8%'s not enough. That one up there. So that's irregular shaped, but it's only moving slowly, so that'd be all right. And you could like on that one, you could minimise the chance of getting whacked by like mining down that corner there. So that's got 29% osmium. I'll leave that, I think. If I was desperate, I'd get one. There's a nice little rock down there. And there's one to the left as well. You see it? So I can check my distance, 19. So I'm getting a bit far out. Now I mustn't go beyond 20. And I've got to travel to that rock. I'm going to put an extra pip to mine. So that's the 24%. That's not enough. It's a bit lean at the moment. Normally, I have better luck than that. Yeah, you have to be careful not to accelerate once you've fired the prospector because you catch it up and it'll expire. As I said, they're very fragile, these ones. So if you're going at constant speed, it's okay. If you're going at maximum speed, it's okay. But what you mustn't do is speed up after you've pressed the button to fire the limpet. 22%, not enough. So I can go inwards a bit now. You can see the pirates fighting in the distance. There's one there. Actually, that one up to the top left would have been okay as well. So if this one hasn't got any, this one must have. That's got a lot, yeah. So I'm going to put a limpet on this one while I'm here. Now, once you've put the limpet on it, the rock keeps its properties. So what's that one? No, it's only 6%. So I can mine this without firing another limpet. I still get the maximum number of fragments, even though the limpet is actually on it. You can see it down. I think that's it there. No, it's expired, but Once it's exposed what's in the rock, that's okay. The only thing now is you don't get the message that when the rock's depleted, but you'll see because no more fragments coming out. Right, now if the pirates do come, you'll see them on the radar first, and then you'll get the message saying, let me see what you've got, and then you've gone beyond the point of no return. They're going to ask for cargo. So you're going to say, yeah, give me 10 tons of that platinum you've got. If you've got osmium, he might ask for that. And then what you have to do is eject it. And you do that here. So I've missed something. You want this always pre-selected like that. So you can see I've got 30 tons in there and 29 limpets left. So when they ask you for cargo, you can open that up straight away. You click on the platinum, come down here, abandon, however much it is they want. It's as simple as that. And it's very quick if you do it like that. You've got 15 seconds to give it to them before they start shooting. And if you're late, they might start shooting, and then they say, all right, yeah, okay, that's fine, and then they'll stop shooting. It sometimes takes them a little bit of a while to do that. So you can, just hang about a little bit and keeping an eye on your shield, because if it's like a cobra or something, they'll go down slowly. But if it's an anaconda, they might go down very quickly, so it might be just time to run away like that. You do have to make a couple of judgments about best thing to do. So the other thing is they might ask for, give me 500,321 credits worth of cargo. Now you're stumped because you don't know what it's worth. But if they ask for something, it's normally around about 500,000. If they ask for that, give them 12 tons of platinum. And if they ask for something closer to a million, give them 20 tons. Otherwise, they could ask for anything. You can divide it up a bit because it's worth roughly, I think, in their prices, 50,000 per ton. So 500,000 would be 10 tons. But you don't want to gamble close to the margin. You don't know what number they're using, so best is just to do what I said. 12 tons or 20 tons always satisfies them. Now the next thing is that they often come in groups. So it's not one pirate, there's several of them there, and they all make demands in quick succession. And you have to satisfy all of them. So, and what can happen if you're not quick, while you've got this panel, you see the message come up, up there, and then so you open up this one to give them what they ask for. And while they're doing that, the next one's made his demand, and then the next one's made his demand, and the thing's scrolled up, and you don't know what's going on now. You don't know who wants what. So that can be problem. That's the only time you get problems normally. I think that's all the fragments come out now. So in that case, you have to wait to see whether they're shooting you or not. So what's my distance now? 17. So I can get that one, I think. And so you do need a tiny little bit of experience in how to deal with the pirates. But if you remember what I've said, you've just got to give them what they ask for. That's in simple terms. So there's a nice rock there. Looks like the one behind it's mineable as well. So that's the pirates. Now what I'm going to do, regardless of anything, I'm going to keep doing this until and force some pirate interactions, and then I'll add them afterwards. So you can see how it works. In a T6, they do tend to be kind to you, and you're only here for 10 minutes. As you see, we're nearly full already. Well, we've got 80 tons, we've got 55 so far. This is quite a good rock. This is going to take us close. We need one more after this. And I'm going to guess, I'm going to bet that one behind it is good to mine. So you're only here for 10 minutes, so the chance of a pirate actually coming once they've been and gone is not that high. In the Python, it's higher because you're here for a bit longer, and as you go up in ships, they come more and more the longer you're here. So cargo holds full now because I've got my full 80 tons. So I've got to dump some limpets. So you don't dump them all. Say dump half of them, something like that. And because don't forget we need to prospect some more rocks yet, and we don't know how full we're going to get from this. So what I would do when if I'm nearly full but not quite enough, I'll keep a couple of limpets back. And what I might do, if I'm not sure if I'm going to fill up, what I'll do is send a prospector at that rock now before I'm full up, because if I don't know whether I'm going to get full from this rock or not, and hopefully that's got platinum in. And if it's got platinum in, I know that without any more prospectors, I can still get that one. So if all my limpets expire in the meantime. So it's got 38%, so my bet was right. That rock will finish us off. So now it doesn't matter if I run out of limpets. So I can keep dumping limpets all the time now. You need to see how I deal with the refinery. Because you want to fill that up, because don't forget, you're carrying 80 tons, but 6 tons in the refinery, I don't know what that is as a percentage, but it was about 8% extra for just waiting until it's full up. And the more cargo you carry, the more efficient it is, always, because of the travelling time. So here goes my last limpets. So I'll do another 2. Because don't forget, those limpets could expire. It looks like, is that the last fragment? Yeah, so I didn't quite fill up from that rock. So now I can come over to this one and finish off. So what did it take altogether? 12, 15 minutes, something like that. You have to look at the clock, wind back the video and see what it was. So that's my cargo hold full now. Now what's happening now is the refinery is filling up. So I'm going to leave that limpet there. Well, I don't need to. Yeah, I'll leave it there in case one of the collectors expires. So second one down is the refinery. Look, there. And now you can see it filling up. If you're collecting osmium as well, and your last rock's only got platinum in it, what you want to do is clear out the osmium in here. You go on that, and then see that little arrow on the right, and just click on that, and it ejects it, and then it'll fill up with platinum. Otherwise, you end up with a bin half full of osmium when you go back. That's 1 ton less. There we go, we're nearly full now. So now I can get rid of the last limpet. Yeah, and use abandon, otherwise the limpets might collect it back up and bring them back in again. So that looks like it now. So 80 tons of platinum, full refinery. It's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. So I'm now ready to go and sell. So let's just have a look. Normally I would have done this beforehand. So what you do is boost out, put your cargo scoop away, put your weapons away. You'll get that message about limpet drone errors. Just all that means is they can't bring it in. They can't because you're full up. So just ignore that. So boost away. Normally, like where that yellow sky is, if that's you're on that side, just boost up to there. So right, let me just show you on this map. If you come here to sell, if the market's good, this station here gives a fair price. This one here gives a better price. This one here gives a same price as this one, I think. But this one's got no limpets. This one you can replenish your limpets. So you could go here, get the better price, and then come back again. This one's slightly further than this one in time-wise, but you get 10% extra in money. So this one first. If they're selling platinum, you can check it on those tools on Inara. You can there's a lot of ways to check that before you go using those tools. So, or you can just go there and have a look, and if it's not, and go somewhere else. But then you've wasted a lot of time. So I'm going to go to this one. Is it going to work? This thing never works for me for some reason or other. Come on. No, it won't target it. So and it never lets me leave either. Look. So I have to use my other button. So I'm going to target it from the navigation panel if I can find it. I don't like this. It's not Evans, it's the other one. McCormick, why is it further away? Oh, we've got the right one. Right, so when you leave, sorry, you want to leave away from the planet. So get your frame shift drive going, and then straight away on the radar, you'll see where the planet is. There it is, it's up behind me. Put it right behind you like that, so you're flying straight out. Do not go through the rings. You'll crash into them. You crash out of Super Cruise. So run out past the edge of the rings and then turn in the direction of the station. They're quite wide rings, these ones. Here we go. So that's it. Now I can straighten up. What that does, it gets you out of the gravity of the planet quicker. So you accelerate quicker. If you just take a more direct route, the planet can slow you down a lot. I mean, it's still slowing us down now, but you know, not so much as it would have done. Right, so I'll see you at the station. So here we are at the station in the selling part of the market, and you see they're offering 240, which is not a bad price. Remember, 280 is about as much as what you get. 270 is if you want to travel a price you can normally get. 250 is about what you might get from some fleet carriers. So anything between 200 and 250. I wouldn't sell for less than 200, but it depends on how far the market's on, that sort of thing. So this was just like 5 minutes from the station, and I got 240. That's a good price, and so I'm going to accept that. 19 million, but that's not the end of the story yet. Remember what I said before. Now look what's happening. Mysteriously, another 6 tons has appeared. Now you need to be aware of that. Even if you didn't intentionally fill up the refinery, there could still be 1 or 2 tons in there, and they come in. And if you don't sell that before you go back, the pirates are going to have you. So when you arrive, they're going to come scanning you and say, got your cargo, and you won't realise what's going on. And the next thing you know, you're going to come under fire and say, what are they shooting me for? I haven't got anything. But you have. You got those tons that came in from the refinery. As soon as you made space in the cargo hold by selling the stuff, what was in the refinery has now got refined and put back in put into the cargo hold. So we got another 6 tons to sell. It's another million. So what was that? It's about 20 million. And that was about 20 minutes from when we started. Well, I know that the whole cycle is about 22, 23 minutes or something like that. So to two complete cycles in an hour, so you look at about 40 million an hour using this T6. And I was taking my time. I wasn't doing anything special there. I'm not racing or anything like that. So that's what you can expect if you do it here. And that's if you got a good price in the market. I think that has gone down a little bit since yesterday. So it it comes and goes. The markets aren't consistent. So obviously, if you can find a close market, so much the better. But otherwise, you're going to have to travel, and that's when we need the fuel scoop and everything. I'm not going to go through all that, but you got the idea. So that's it in the T6. So look to the end of the video where I do the pirate interactions, and then what I'll do, so I'm going to do that next, and then I'll do the Python in a part 2. That'll be easier, so you don't have to watch so much. So if you want to see the Python, then watch the next one, and that'll be coming very shortly. So I hope you enjoyed that. If there's a lot to it, but it is simple. But once you've got it all, so it's definitely worth doing. and you need to mine to unlock Celine Jean. So she wants 500 tons. Once you've mined 500 tons, she'll talk to you, but she won't do anything until you take her some painite. And there is painite here as well. So you just mine the platinum. You don't put the painite on the ignore list, and then if you see any painite, you keep it. And she only wants 10 tons, and then you can, like, after you sold the platinum, you can go off and give that to her, and she'll be happy. So nice beginner activity. This, but much better than you saw. There was no pirates. We didn't even see one. Most of the time, you won't see one, but just occasionally in the T6, one will come. Especially if at the beginning you're too quick to start. So if there are pirates around you, you do want to just wait a little bit, make sure that they're not taking any interest in you, or they've scanned you and gone. Then you're good to go. And because you're only there for about 10 minutes, you're normally gone before anybody else comes. But occasionally you will get another one, and he'll just ask for something, and you have to reject it. You got no choice. And if you really mess up, obviously like 3 or 4. I've even had like 6 different ones all asking at the same time. And you, if you get in a mess and you start to come under fire, just boost out, get those 4 pips to engines, 2 to shields, boost out as quickly as you can. After the first boost, drop the heatsink, and then boost again. The heatsink will last about 10 seconds. If you still haven't got clear of mass lock, then uh, drop another heatsink. That'll get you another 10 seconds, and you should be safe. So that's about it, I think. So yeah, any comments or any ideas, put them in the comments. I always reply. If you've got any questions, yeah, same thing. I always try to do my best to answer them. So I'm not here to trick you or anything. These aren't monetized videos. I only do them to help you and to like try and gather all the knowledge that we've got and then present it. Right, and in this interaction, I'm using a Cobra. I'm just about full up, but just finishing off the last couple of tons from the rock. The Cobra doesn't hold very much. You'll see the pirates just appearing on the radar down there at the bottom left. So I'm now suspicious that something's happened, but I'm now figuring out that if I'm quick, I can fill up and get away before they come for my cargo. So now they're pretty solid on the radar. This is fairly typical. You can see there's a lot of pirates. There's 1, 2, 3. I think there's 4 altogether. So here we go with the last 2 tons. Scan detected. Look at the top left. Do you have anything of value? That's what that means. They're after you. So I'm now taking a chance. Now you don't have to do this. So I could have just left then and been perfectly safe. He's given me 15 seconds to give him 15 tons. Well, it's half my cargo. There's no way I'm going to give him that in the Cobra. So I've now figured out I've still got time to fill up a bit more and get the refinery full. So while the limpets are just collecting up the last few fragments, I've put 4 pips to shields for when they start firing, because any second now he's going to start firing. So here we go, under attack. So no point hanging around. It's got really weak shields, the Cobra. So get my pips sorted out. Unfortunately, I caught the one of the triggers and changed mode when I was doing the pips, and that messed me up a little bit. And so I'm boosting away now. I dropped the heatsink, and you'll notice as soon as I drop the heatsink, look at the damage on the radar. It stops on the panel, more or less stops. So I'm protected by the heatsink. Now the heatsink is just about wearing off, and then you'll see the damage start again. So I dropped a second one. So no further damage. I got mass locked a bit, but the Cobra's pretty fast. Keep boosting out. T6 is the same, and got clear, and then got the frameshift drive going to safety. Right, this is an interesting one. I've just arrived at my first rock, again using the Cobra, and there had been some pirates followed me out and scanned me, but they all drifted off. And then suddenly a couple of them seem to come back. I see them on my radar, and I haven't even sorted out my pips for mining yet. So you can see this is absolutely my first rock, and we got the scan. So I just wait, and because I haven't got any cargo, uh, you'll see the message: another empty cargo hold. Our children will go hungry tonight. So that's them scanning me, and off they'll go. So I then waited a bit. I sent prospectors out a couple of rocks while I was waiting to find, so I was ready for mining. And then after another 2 minutes or minute and a half, where is it? Oops, see if I can find it. Hit right here. You can see they're still around. Suddenly, hope you have something you can. Now I've got cargo here because I've been mining for a minute and a half, but not a lot. So he's given the message. Now he's giving his demand 4 tons within 15 seconds. So that's not a lot. And they take a proportion of your cargo. So if you don't have much, they don't ask for so much. So I gave him the 4 tons. There's just the cargo I was looking for. So he's happy. So when you see that message, that's fine, or just that's what I was looking for. I'm rich, or anything like that. Then that's the end of it. You can just carry on mining. Like this one, I'm about halfway through. A whole load of ships appear on my radar. You see, it's a big. It always seems to be a big gang when they come. Occasionally, you can get just one pirate, but mainly it's a gang. And let's see what happens. So I'm just now keeping an eye on my comms panel, suspecting that something's about to kick off. Scan detected, but what you'll notice is there's no message. If there's no message, it means it's the police. So the police are with the pirates. What's going to happen now? Probably the police are going to scan the pirates too, and then they'll start shooting them. And sure enough, you'll start seeing them dance all over the place. That's a sign that they're fighting each other. In fact, a couple of them even bashed into the ship. But no problem for me. I'll just carry on mining and then go for the next rock, try and get out their way when they're ready. This is an interesting one. This is right at the beginning. I found a 65% rock, and so I knew I wasn't going to be here long. Pirates are all round me. I'm not sure whether they'd already scanned me or not from the beginning, but you can see all that. What I did, I waited a long time. I prospected a load of other rocks while I was waiting to see what they did, but none of them. I'm pretty sure none of them scanned me. So I just decided to start. I wasn't going to wait here all day. And what happened? They seem to be fighting each other. You'll see them scooting around all over the place. There's a vulture there. There's a viper up there. So I'm about halfway through the rock now. There's a courier there. And I think I even got bumped by a couple of them. They're buzzing all round. And, I wouldn't say it's unnerving. It's a bit annoying more than anything. So I actually got knocked a couple of times. But I knew that I was going to get nearly everything from this rock. So there's a chance that, even if they asked for cargo, I was going to be on the way. And then you fire your limpet. Oh, there's a pirate come, so I'm going to have to give him some cargo now. So that one only had 22%. It's not quite enough. So now you need to keep an eye on the comms panel. So what's he want? He wants 12 tons of that platinum, so we've got no choice, got to give it to him. So he should, I forgot to mention, you should have your inventory. There's another one coming by the looks of it. So 12 tons he wanted. That's him happy. See what the next one wants. He wanted 6 tons. The other one's happy. But that one might be happy. I'm going to do it anyway. Sometimes, if there's two together, the second one thinks the cargo you gave out for the first one was for him. So you only have to give one lot. But the trouble is, you've got to wait and see whether they shoot you first to know whether you were successful. This is one where I get 2 requests. So you can see that there's 4 pirates there. It looks like a wing of 3 and a single one. So I'm well on my way through. Now, when the pirates turn up like that, it's probably just going. There you go. So that you can see there's two separate ones. This is the dangerous time, but it can work to your advantage. So the first one wants 16 tons. Now the trouble is the second one's going to come up while I'm doing the panel. So I'll give him the 16 tons, and when you look, let me see. It's another one, another request there. You call that cargo, and then you choose wide, and the other one said you choose widely as well. When you look, he had asked for 10 tons of cargo. So I didn't see that request for 10 tons, but luckily he thought the 16 tons I ejected was for him, and the other one was happy with it, so they're both happy. I have even seen them fighting over it. You get messages come up, that's my cargo. Leave it to me. I'm going to get you, and stuff like that. Really, really funny. You get all sorts. So just carry on watching. So I'm still suspicious. So I'm getting ready just in case, in my mind at least. But looks like they're all happy now. Right, this one's interesting. I was actually collecting Bertrandite for another reason. I'm not going to go into that just now. So I had Bertrandite and platinum, and they got the message. Let me see what you have. So it's just a question of seeing what he wants. And here we go. 371,000. So you don't know what that is. I hoped that the 9 tons of Bertrandite would be enough for 371,000. But I hadn't done the sums. Just took a chance on it. Keep dumping, keep dumping. Oh, that means it's not enough. So now I don't know how much extra I got to give him. So just give him, I chose 10 tons of platinum. And that would have been enough to satisfy the 371,000. I need more than that. So be careful. Then it's just the cargo I was looking for. So don't be too quick to respond. Often when you give them the cargo, it takes a while to come out. So they'll say that's not enough or something like that. I want more, but actually you've already given them enough. So that's it's always a problem when I ask for a value of cargo because you never know how much to give them to satisfy you. So as I think I said before, generally if it's around 500,000, give them 12 tons, and if it's closer to 1 million, give them 20 tons, and that's always worked for me. Oops, done it again. This one was right at the end of my session again, second time that's. It's surprising how often they do come right at the end, especially in the Python, when you've got that last 20 tons to get or something, suddenly they turn up and you then have to make the decision whether to leave or whether to meet their demands. And when you're nearly full up, it's probably better just to go. So this one, he's asked me for 580,500 credits worth. I've no idea how much that is, but I've already got me 80 tons. I was just trying to fill up the refinery. So let's see what happens. So I decided I'll forget about the refinery and just get on my way. So he's not happy. He's turned red because he's seen me running. Now he's going to start shooting. So I've messed about a bit trying to find my destination. I put my pips then. I'd already got 4 to the engines when I knew I was going to run, but I hadn't done the 2 to the shields, but I've done them now. Boosting away. And I dropped a heat sink, and you can hear it going off. And once that heat sink was dropped, you can rewind the video and have a look. You'll see that no more damage occurred. His weapons just started to take a couple of percent off my shield. But the moment I dropped that heat sink, it deflected. I became untargeted, and he couldn't land a shot after that. And I'd already boosted, so I was well on my way. At that range, his weapons probably couldn't do any damage anyway. So yeah, I'm on my way safely. I hardly lost anything from the shields. So I think that's about it. What I'm going to show you for all these pirate interactions. As you can see, that they're fairly easy to deal with. The first couple of times you might panic a little bit, but once you've done it a couple of times, you start to figure out how easy it is. So yeah, if you're towards the end, just leave. If you're at the beginning, you haven't really lost much, and in the middle, just give them what they want. And As I said before, the only danger is when several of them make claims at the same time that you don't see. So if you do come under fire, probably the best thing is just to leave, unless you're sure of what it is. And sometimes while you're running away, they, they, they give an they repeat their demand. If only you give me like the 6 tons of platinum, all this can stop. Well, then, if that's not very much. You might as well stop, give them the 6 tons, and then carry on because they will stop shooting if you give them what they ask for. But only when they give that message. Sometimes, if say they asked for 20 tons and you only gave them 18, or they asked for 1 million credits worth and whatever you dumped wasn't enough, and you weren't sure how much to give them, you thought you'd given them enough, and then they start shooting. And you can dump more cargo, but it seems to reset each time. And so they forget the cargo you've already given them. Now you've got to give them the 20 tons or whatever it's again to satisfy them. So you think, oh, I must have been a couple of tons short. Don't give them the couple of tons because it won't work. The whole thing gets reset and you have to give them the whole amount again. But sometimes you just don't know what they wanted because your panel was open while you were dumping the other pirate stuff while they made their demand. You got no idea what it is they want, so you keep running away, and they don't tell you what they want. So in that case, you got no choice but just to leave completely. And yeah, probably. I mean, if you're going a long way to sell it, it might be worth dropping back in. But don't forget, next time you go in, they're going to ask for cargo again straight away. So um, that's the problem. Also, if you log out at any time while you're in the mining, don't forget that when you log back in again, it will bring a new spawn of pirates, so they'll come and check you out. So just be careful of that. So best if you've logged out for any reason, as soon as you log in, if the game crashes or the game logs you out, as soon as you get logged back in again, just leave because the chances are the pirate's going to come and see your cargo and want to take it, unless you haven't got very much, or unless you want to give them what they want. But there could be a big gang of them all wanting some. So I can't give you the exact answer because it just depends. Right. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll if you've got any comments about anything at all, obviously write them in the comments. I'll include the ship builds and the any links to documents. If you've got any questions, ask them as well. I always do my best to answer them. And so I hope you enjoyed that. Now, look out for part 2, which is going to cover the Python and how to get the best selling price for your stuff. You might find that interesting. So I'll see you later.